What's going on, everybody? How you doing? It's me, your investor specialist, your key to the fantastic world of money making, your guru of glamour, your speculator king. Um, it's been about 6 months, and I had 4 books sent in for submission about 6 months ago, around March-ish. The delays hit for CGC. It's not something I normally do. I've slabbed these books with the sole purpose of selling them. Um, I have no plans to hold on to any of these. As far as I'm concerned, let's get them out the door. Let's make some fucking money. Let's bank that shit. I'm looking forward to. We have a mini con coming. I've been pulling out. I have a couple of other books that I didn't think were good enough to get slabbed because they would have to come back at exceptionally high grade to make it worth it. So I've kept them raw, as they say in the game. I've kept them unslabbed, unencased in their tombs. And I'll probably try to sell those ones locally. I'll probably do like a little Facebook Winnipeg Comic Addicts Facebook auction and see what we get for those. But these ones here, I knew that they would come back at a bit higher grades, uh, and I'm pleasantly surprised. Before we jump into that, I was at 204 Comics because that's where the guy who runs it there, Ashley, who owns the place, he's the one who you can submit CGC books and he'll take care of, and he does mass shippings and try to cut down on the cost for all of us. I didn't have anything on my pull list, so I just grabbed 2 books off the shelf. I sat down tonight to read both of them, and I started flipping through this Kang number 2, and I realized that I'm just not interested in it. I all of a sudden remembered issue number 1, and I just wasn't feeling it, which is why I didn't put it on my pull list. Because for a moment I was confused. I thought I put it on my pull list, so I don't know if I'll get around to reading it or not. Um, I mean, there's just I wanted to check it out because it's a Kang story, but ultimately it just didn't do much for me, that first one there. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'll stick with it. We'll see if I actually sit down to read it. The one that I just kind of, again, it's one of those things I don't keep track too much on new books, but every once in a while one will pop up on my radar that seems like it's getting a little bit of attention. This one seems to have jumped up everywhere on my feed and stuff. This Maw from Boom Studios, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Saw it on the shelf there and figured I'd give it a shot. Flipped through it, and the art doesn't look too bad. So I sat and read it tonight. I mean, it's a story. We'll see where it's going to go. There's maybe a little bit of potential. Um, yeah, it's not the happiest premise, especially one of the things that happens to one of the main characters. But maybe it has something going for it. I don't really know. It's too soon to tell. It's creators that I don't know anything about. But I got to say that I do love the quality of the Boom Studios books with their covers and stuff. So this one was what? It was $3.99, so that ain't bad, and it's suggested for mature readers. So I gave that a shot. Not too bad. I'll try it again. And then I went to the shop by my office. I had ordered a couple of books from 'em. One of them was um, the one I talked about, the Brecht Evans book that I talked about last week, and then the other one was Brechia's Dracula hardcover. I guess it's going to be first in like a series of reprinting some of his books. I have to say, like, it's a hell of a spine. Fantagraphics, they do an amazing job. This was really great. Talk about it probably a little bit on the show on Sunday, not too much since it's already been discussed by Damien. And I think Earl Grey had a German version on. I think that might have been one of the weeks that I wasn't there, but I really enjoyed this. His art is gorgeous. Like, it looked gorgeous on screen when they were showing, or when Damien was showing it off, but in person, it's even more gorgeous. Really, really loved it. Yeah, I saw that. Hello, Gorvidel. Hello, G. Hello, Mind the Comics. I saw that trigger warning, and I normally wouldn't have noticed it because it was really, really small text at the top of the inside cover page. I didn't know what the book was about, so yeah, it kind of was a bit of a spoiler as to what you were going to read. I completely understand why they would do it, but yeah, I don't know if it spoiled it for me. It kind of, got me ready for something. Anyway, so this is gorgeous. There's a little bit of a write up in the back about this book specifically, and then there's a bit of a write up on Breccia himself, and then they talk about what's coming next. I wonder if, because they show some sketches and they show the Superman character in the back, and he does in the pencils, like when he's doing the original layouts, there is a big S on his chest. So and because of this panel here, that block of color there, it makes me wonder, did they have to blue out that S for this particular version? I wonder if that appeared in the original. I don't remember if they talked about it on the show, but anyway, beautiful. And this cover is stunning, and the whole thing, the whole package is really, really great. So that's the comics that I got this week just for reading. So I now have, believe it or not, I can't believe it myself. And again, when you start to get down this path, I can understand why people kind of can get addicted to this kind of thing. There is a certain bit of there's a little bit of a thrill about having this kind of shit. So I have 6 slabs total now in my collection. So the ones that I had from previous, so Planet Comics, number 1 and a 9.2 with the Dave Stevens cover. This one's pretty sought after from what I understand, or it goes up and down anyway. I think it's kind of on a little bit of a down tick. I think there's a Dave Stevens documentary coming possibly, so we'll see. Maybe it has a bit of an uptick. Again, it was something that I found in dollar bins a lifetime ago, so I figured, why not? And then the other one that you've seen before is this Thor number 2 from the Jason Aaron God of Thunder run, and 9.8, the magical number that everybody seems to just vie for, which a lot of people have talked about. It's not so impressive when it's new books. They should be 9.8. It's like, what the hell are you doing to them? So this one, we're waiting for the trailer to come out, and then we'll dump that sucker and see what we can get. I don't want to talk prices because who the hell knows? I don't want to guess. I know what I've kind of tracked over time with some of these books, but who the hell knows? So these last 4 are ones that I picked up today. So the first one is the Savage She-Hulk, issue number 1, which came back at an 8.5. Surprised me a little bit. I thought this one might be a little bit lower. Again, I am not anything close to a grader. I sort of can have a very, very general sense of things, but even after watching ETA Nick's exceptional videos on grading, which if you have any little bit of interest in that side of it, those videos are well worth your time. Those were the first videos that I saw from ETA Nick, and really, really great. So off-white to white pages on this 8.5. Still not bad, This one was a tiny bit of a disappointment. Again, my guess was that it was going to be around 9.4-ish. But again, what do I know? So this is Batman Adventures number 12. Came back as a 9.0. Still good. It's always kind of a hot book to some degree. So I'm not disappointed in that whatsoever. So that's pretty great. And that's white pages on that sucker. Batman Adventures Mad Love. Yeah, I don't remember what I thought about this one. It looked pretty good to me, but So 9.4 on this sucker. I wish it would have come back a tiny bit higher, even a 9.6. This one, again, fluctuates. It seems to fluctuate. It's not like a Batman Adventures 12 where it's kind of consistently at a price. This one kind of ups and downs depending on the day of the week. And then the last one, this is the one that surprised me the most. Again, this is one that when it came out, I grabbed it because I was a fan of the shows. So this is my copy that I've had since I got it for free. That's been in my collection, that's moved locations with me. So the fact that it came back at this grade is very, very surprising to me. Really surprising. So it's Batman Beyond, the free comic book day one. There it is, the magical 9.8. Very, very happy with this one. Again, it's not a hugely expensive book out there, but hey, the whole purpose of these books, the main purpose, I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, but that's white pages as well too. So very, very happy with that one. So the whole purpose of these books and getting them graded is to kind of obviously maximize the amount that we can make on them. But we're hoping that after my son graduates, we can take a family trip to China. So the sole purpose of the money from these graded books is to go into an account that we can put towards the plane tickets, because obviously it ain't cheap to get there. And we're talking like 2 years down the line. So this is after he graduates. He has to, yeah, no way, man, not cracking them all. Trademark. After he graduates, he has some work placement that he has to do for another month or two. So we'll probably end up going kind of later in the season, October-ish, probably. That's the plan anyway. So fingers crossed that we can get some bucks out of these books and then kind of bank them away for plane tickets for the family. I just think that would also be a fantastic story, even if we pay for one or two of our plane tickets with comics. I think would be just a great story about funding our trip. And then, like I said, there's a couple of things that I have that I may want to look at again in the collection that might be grade worthy, that we'll see. But I'm a little hesitant to send anything in anymore just because of the delays, right? It's not super expensive. It ain't cheap for us. I think these cost about $60 Canadian each to get graded. And for the ones that I have here, that's worth it, considering what I paid for them, which was nothing or next to nothing. And then what I could potentially get back from them. But I don't know if I want to sit and wait another 6 months. It was a little nerve-wracking because it's the worries of, I've never really done this too much before. What happens if, and what happens if that, and what happens if this, and what happens if I miss that window? Now I've spent this money on books that are going to be worthless, all of those kind of things. Like, as fun as it is and as interesting as it can be, the world of speculating is just, I'm not built for it, really. I do watch a couple of shows. There's this one that I watch kind of semi-regularly. This Tales from the Flip Side. They've got a couple of really good nights where they just talk about books. And actually that show is one of them that's highlighted a couple of books in my collection that I had no idea that they had bumped up in value. So it's good to kind of keep half an ear to the ground. I feel, even if I don't play the full game, it's good to know which ones I can cleanse from the collection and make some money to go comic hunting again. So the ones that I have raw, the plans for those ones, we have a comic convention coming up at the end of October. The first one, it left a couple of years ago. We thought it would never come back. It's usually a pretty good convention. I mean, we are in Winnipeg. We're in the middle of the country. It's not like we have a ton of vendors. There is one vendor that used to come in every year. I don't know if they're here this year. I don't think they've released anything yet as to who's setting up in there. They're from Montreal. And generally, in the past, if you've seen my kind of convention videos, when I was kind of showing off what I got, the majority of the stuff that I would buy at the big convention was from those from that group, because they always had incredible stuff, and for the most part, decent prices. At the end of the day, you are going to a convention. You're not going to be getting the best prices. Cthulhu Hand Luke, how's it going? You're not going to be getting the best prices, but I'm hoping that I can cash in on some of those and bank a little bit of that so I can dip into the convention. I picked up issue 4. Oh, that's the other one that I picked up. I knew that there was one more. I don't know what I did with it. I got the Jeff Darrow cover. I'm not, and honestly, Gore, I haven't read a single issue of it. Um, yeah, I mean, it's not a topic, it's not a subject that appeals to me very much. I'm supporting it because I admire them trying to go a different route. At the end of the day, I end up kind of supporting some creators that I think are trying to tackle things a different way, which I appreciate. And I'm also supporting Fantagraphics. If anybody deserves it for my money, I think Fantagraphics deserves to be around for many, many years to come. They've been kind of a cornerstone of my comic reading growing up and stuff, exposing me to a completely different world. So I don't mind. I buy the variant covers. My cap is kind of, the variants are if they're around $20 Canadian, I'll do that. There was a variant, the Jim Rugg variant was the Spawn. That was priced already at like $30 Canadian, so I tapped out on that one. 20 is really the cap. So I got the Jeff Darrow, which I think was the 1 in 15 or something like that, which kind of just cost me 20. Uh, you know, it's insane to say that out loud because I would never do that for any other new book. But again, I do feel like the support is there for Fantagraphics and for Ed and Jim as creators. And I guess it's doing pretty well, but I usually flip through them and that's it. And then they go into the filing cabinet down low and tucked away because, yeah, it doesn't really appeal to me other than that. I think that's it, people. Yeah, I think I mentioned it before, I found The Ape that we were talking about, Mila Manara, the book that I have on the shelf. It's down here. I haven't tucked into it yet. It's been a very, very busy, it's been a busy couple of months, if I'm honest, at work. But the last few weeks have just been kind of out of control to some degree. So I haven't had a ton of time to sit and read. Um, but yeah, so I'm sure I'll have something to talk about on Sunday. Just as a reminder for the Sunday show, we're an hour earlier than we used to be. This week, I believe it's Earl Grey's channel that we're on. So if you normally caught us at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, just an hour earlier, and I think we're going to stick with that time slot going forward. Just makes it a little easier for those overseas. I might be a little late. I have some meetings this weekend, some work stuff. So, but everybody will be there. I think Damien is back with us this week as well too. So we'll see what everybody's reading. Not my usual kind of going into stuff, but I was just kind of excited to talk about the slabs a little bit, talk about that sort of stuff. Remember to hit subscribe, hit that like button, pound that bell. Thanks very much, everybody, for hanging out. It was good to see you all. We'll talk to you soon.